Good morning and welcome to a little podcast I'm doing today. And my guest today is Paola Harris, who I've known for many, many years, as she's been a researcher probably maybe as long as I have. She has an incredible career of dealing with many of the top researchers of all times. And Paola runs a conference in Laughlin, Nevada, that I've spoken at for a number of years, and I want to talk to Paola today about who she's got this coming November, exactly when the conference is, and who's coming. So welcome, Paola, and tell us what's about to happen in Laughlin, Nevada in November.
Well, thank you, Grant. Thanks so much for gabbing about this. This is very important to me. 5 years ago, I created a company called Starworks USA, and this is the 5th year of the conference in Laughlin. Originally, I was on the board of directors of Bob Brown's conference in Laughlin, which it became the International UFO Congress, as you know. And what I decided to do in 2014 is bring it back to Laughlin, which is affordable. And I say it's affordable because it's still at the Aquarius Hotel, and the rooms during the week are $49 and the weekend are $59. So you could go to the whole conference for $200 for 4 days. I mean, that's unbelievable. And then we still have a venue where you could walk along the Colorado River, and we're outdoors and we're in the Nevada landscape. So we're outdoors, and it's a really fun conference. That's why I picked that location. Everybody says, well, why is it there? Why don't you bring it somewhere else? Not really, because not only do we have a ballroom that seats 900, not only does the hotel really want to keep it affordable, but it's got memories. I mean, I can remember incredible people that spoke there in the old days. Now, why am I doing this? Why am I doing it now? Because the Starworks USA conferences, Grant, include consciousness-based work. In other words, it is UFOs, and last year, you know, you were there for Time for Truth. It was about as nuts and bolts as you could get with Clifford Stone. And then what I do is graduate, and I think it is graduate school, to the study of the evolution of human consciousness, which is basically the messages that we're getting from not only Latin America, but all over the world. I mean, the visitations that are happening with the space people, the people that are being downloaded, the people that you've even interviewed have to do with consciousness. So every year we have a theme, and this year's theme is the return of the star people, because I wanted to do a Native American theme for a long time. You know, I've been listening to the Lakota, the fact that Close Encounters had Devil's Tower, which is really Bear Mountain, that Spielberg knew about the ancestors of the Native Americans. So what I did was build it around Danny Sheehan, who is, you know, the counsel for the Lakota Sioux. He also was the counsel for the citizen hearings. He was the counsel for Stephen Greer's Disclosure Project. Well, I talked to Danny, and this is going to be really exciting. That weekend, November 2nd through 4th, 2018, in Laughlin, he's going to be in North Dakota transmitting live, because the trials are going to be starting. The trials for the people that are protesting the pipeline that was put in, the trials that support the water protectors. And he said that I hope to have his wife on stage, and with her, Ruben Langdon, who also has film footage of the water protectors. You know, Ruben Langdon did the film footage on citizen hearings. And we're going to transmit live from North Dakota. I mean, we're doing something. In other words, this isn't just entertainment. What we're doing is from North Dakota telling Danny is going to talk about what the chances are of overturning that ruling. I want the conference to be a social action thing. So we will have also Jim Graywolf, who is a shaman, who will speak Friday night. We will have Clifford Mahooty, that people know. We will have the Navajo Rangers come up from Phoenix talking about because if the theme is the return of the star people, they got to talk about the the ancestors, or the what we call the original myths of all the original people, that their people come from the stars. It's not just Native Americans. And then Serena Wright Williams will talk about the Vedic Indian Vimana, the Vedic history. And then I have Birgitte Knauss here's the international people, Birgitte Knauss from Barcelona, who will have a dual role. She'll talk about her experiences at the Bosnian pyramids, because she takes tours there every year. And she will talk about how they are UFO related and very antique. But Birgitte, and this will interest you, and I hope you interview her, was also present during the time that Emery Smith and Dr. Stephen Greer and Jan Bravo were in Barcelona for the Atacama beam. So Birgitte, I've talked to her, picked up a phone and talked to her long distance about that not being any fetus. The Atacama being with the teeth, the pointed head, was not created in the womb. She said it was very interesting, and this is field research, because she said that the doctor from Chile that was in the room when they were taking the samples, he lived in Chile. His mother said she saw beings like that and a little bit taller in the Atacama Desert. That's field research. People should take that being, they should go to Chile, they should say, have you ever seen anything like this? And look at that, look at Birgitte would also tell you she knows the man that owns it. So Birgitte will address that when she speaks, and you can ask her more about that. She said that isn't a fetus. We all know. She said that was exhibited in Berlin 6 years before. The man that owns it knows it wasn't. Now, there's a whole story about why there's a cover-up there, Grant, and I have convinced, and here he is on the postcard, I have convinced Emery Smith to come to speak to us, not only about his involvement with the Atacama being, but his involvement in the huge cover-up with the biotechnical world. And he is going to be our main attraction. He has said he would love to come to Laughlin. The way that I've structured that is that he will, like Clifford Stone, be seated with me, and I will ask the right questions of him. And then I'm hoping you will interview him as you did Clifford Stone in the afternoon, to ask the detailed questions that have to do with documents and, the cover-up. I mean, the cover-up has been going on forever, but the thing about why I support Emery, who does his work with Gaia, with David Wilcox, is because of all my research, and that includes Michael Wolff-Crevant and all the whistleblowers in my books, written 5 books, they're all whistleblowers, they're all insiders. I can corroborate some of what he's saying. In fact, I was shocked when he started talking. I said, you mean they cloned super soldiers? Because that's what Michael Wolff said he did in 1975. You mean you're messing with alien DNA? That's what Michael Wolff told me when I went to see him in person in Hartford, Connecticut. And then a lot of other people in my life that, I interview insiders, military people, intelligence people, have told me the same thing. So I can do the verification because of my own research, not because, often people say, are people telling the truth? And you can use opinion. Opinion isn't research for me. I have to backtrack it and look at what other people have said and see if it fits in a timeline. And the timeline is very important. And see if it fits with what I've learned in my research, in my questioning. So Emery Smith will be there in person, and in the morning, talk to me. We haven't done the schedule yet, but you should look at www.starworksusa.com. And then we will have you speak for 2 hours. And we've got a surprise for you, because part of it is you have been putting out so much beautiful material on your music book, which I am reading right now. I wish people would read. I love your music book. And that we're going to surprise you with a couple of things. We have you speaking, and we have Jan Harzan from MUFON.
Was Jan speaking on?
Jen, was part of the Devil's Tower conference that they had last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was there physically. And there's a lot about just Devil's Tower and a lot about MUFON's on restructuring and their data collecting. So, and it's important. Data collecting is important. We can't just be going out there. And so I do support Jan and MUFON, and we'll always have somebody there from MUFON, but he's just a real wonderful person. And then I'm going to have Jaime Maussan come and show the Antonio Uzi footage he just got from Italy. He was just over there with Uzi, who's filming UFOs in broad daylight from his apartment in Milano, from his attic, up front and personal, and they're not buttons and they're not hubcaps. I've known Uzi for 20 years. I knew him way before he became very well known, and I saw his early footage. So when I verify somebody, it's because I've known them for 20 years, or I've been following the story before it was popular or whatever. So the Uzi footage is going to be amazing that Jaime's going to show. And because he's a journalist and I'm a journalist, we're not ufologists, we get material that nobody else gets because they don't know where to put it. So we're going to be doing, so he's going to be showing the material that he's getting. The Native American theme is very important for me. We're going to start legally this year for the first time with some meditation, some flute playing, and some shaman, kinds of intros on Thursday at 6 o'clock. So we're going to have, some people talk about where we want to go with consciousness. And consciousness is just being aware. It's knowing that we're one with something greater. It's so important because it's the bottom line of all the research we're doing. And so I'm going to start on Thursday at 6 o'clock for the people that want to come. And and also who will be there that'll give us a hand in this is Ricardo Gonzalez from Argentina. I have to bring Ricardo to Laughlin every 2 years because Ricardo will have just come back from the Gobi Desert. I mean, he goes to Mongolia, he goes to Russia, he goes to Huascaran in Peru. He's everywhere. And the messages and the information that he brings is the Latin American information, which is so important. And I want him with the shamans from the Native Americans to come together and kind of open this up so that we get inspiration. I mean, I always say, and I don't know if you agree, we've got enough information. Now we need to be inspired to do something. And this is why the conference is very unique. Now, for the people that want to save money, I encourage them to sign up in May because our early bird, which we're just doing for this year only, finishes June 1st. We need those funds to bring over the foreigners. And we have 5 foreigners. So, and it's not cheap. So we are encouraging people, they save $50 each, get the whole package, the formal dinner, and the color is green this year. So got a green shirt. It's ecological. We have to do green.
So people wear green dresses or green shirts for the banquet, right?
The banquet. Last year it was red. Do you remember that massive red?
Yeah.
Everybody was in red. It's something that we do. And so if people sign up for the whole package, that includes 18 speakers, 2 films, the cocktail party where we'll have the Native Americans be with us on Friday, and then the major buffet dinner that everybody loves with the speech at the end on Saturday. So it's a 3-day event, really 3.5 now. And it's just a package deal. It's easier for us to calculate it that way. And hopefully we'll have people come that will have a dialogue. On the postcard it said, let's start a dialogue. We'll have a dialogue with our speakers, with you, with me, with all the people involved. It's at the Aquarius Hotel, November 2nd through 4th. And sign up now through www.starworksusa.com.
Wonderful. Let me ask you a couple of questions to finish. Can you just name off, have you got your card? Can you just name off the 18 speakers?
It's Jan Harzan,
okay.
Ricardo Gonzalez. I'll be speaking on my research when I come back from Europe. I'm going to Europe right now. Steve Mera from the UK, he's another person you've met and I hope you interview. He's Paranormal Magazine, has been all over the world with field research. Ruben Langdon, who did the citizen hearings. Emery Smith, who is an insider with Gaia Television with David Wilcox, talking about the chemical kinds of things and his research in those fields with and he'll talk about the Atacama being too. Grant Cameron, Danny Sheehan, Jim Graywolf Petruzzi, who is who works with the Native Americans in Washington, D.C., Clifford Mahooty, Birgitte Knauss, who will talk about the Bosnian pyramids, Jaime Maussan, the Navajo Rangers, Serena Wright Taylor, Gwen Farrell, who is a hypnotherapist who does our experiencers, Karen Gresham Nickell that everybody loves that does the meditation on Sunday and talks about changing your life. And the hosts this year are going to be Scott Coburn from KZMU and David Garcia and Rachel Mayo. And, you know, they are wonderful people who will introduce all these speakers. It's a fun weekend. You can go outdoors. And it's reasonable.
Wow. Let me add a few things. First of all, the weather. You forgot to mention the weather. I come from Canada, and this is in November, and I can absolutely assure people it is the most beautiful weather that you could possibly imagine. Not too hot, not too cold, no wind. It's on the Colorado River. It's beautiful. In fact, I was the one that sort of encouraged you to go back to Laughlin, because that was the famous place, the UFO Congress for many years. And it's a cheap place. You can actually stay a couple extra days. You can get a cheap hotel room, stay there after the conference, which I think I'm planning to do, to just sort of sit around and enjoy. It's a beautiful place. That I want to mention. And the other thing is a couple of your guests. You've got Emery Smith coming in, and for people who may not know, his name is actually on this paper that was put out that said it was, you know, this 22-week-old fetus, but I believe that he does not agree with that, correct? And he's going to talk about this. Yes,
and in person he'll do it, but it's very I found out what really happened there, and it's extremely controversial. We're going to have to let Emery get settled, because he's one of the bravest people I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
He is into truth. He is into truth. He will discuss this with you.
Yeah. So this is a very prominent story now on the internet, because, as you know, Stephen Greer has just come out publicly talking about this. So this may be a big story. The other one that the other big story, the controversial story, and I talked to Steve Mera. I was in England talking to him. And I don't know if he's going to talk about the beings, the Nazca beings. He ran a $60,000 investigation, and I heard what he said. And if he's going to talk about that in Laughlin, I think it could be kind of exciting, because it's not what people think it's going to be. He talked to us in a hotel room, and he's going public with what his investigation was. And it's almost like the same thing as the Atacama being. Is this completely different story than what you're hearing on the internet. So hopefully Steve will talk about that. So you've got some exciting people coming that I know, and I hope people will take the time. 18 speakers is an awful lot of speakers. I mean, that's a big conference. You've got a lot of people to pick from, a lot of stuff to listen to, and I really appreciate the fact that people like you sort of put their money and their careers on the line to do this, because I realize what it takes to run one of these conferences, and I appreciate the fact that you do this and you open yourself up to spreading the information to people and bringing in people from around the world. So that's why I wanted to give you an opportunity to explain who some of these foreign speakers are, because a lot of times people may not have heard about, you know, people from Italy or Spain and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you've sort of identified who these people are and what their expertise is.
Thanks, Greg. You know, it's really hard because a lot of the conference have the same speakers over and over again. And my problem is that I, as a journalist, want to know, you know, and when I encounter people like Steve Mera or a Ricardo Gonzalez or somebody, I want them to talk to everybody. I get excited because I do the stories. But, you know, the thing is that I want them to talk to everybody. I want the world to be involved with ufology. And ufology is not just an American phenomenon, as you know. Some year I want a Chinese or Japanese representative to tell us what's going on over there. I mean, we're not even getting information from some of these countries. So it's my job as an international journalist to do an international conference. But you know, because you've been there so often, everybody loves it so much that they sign up for the following year. And I'm going to tell your viewers right now, next year is remote viewing. And I have Russell Targ, who's a very close friend of mine, and we've been talking about this, and he wants to screen his newest film. So it's going to be all on remote viewing. So there's a theme with my conferences that really give a lot of information. I mean, not only is it affordable, but you get your money's worth. And people love it so much because the atmosphere is not a commercial one. I mean, it's not just about, you know, talking and selling your books and so forth. We do have a vendor area out in the lobby. It's about getting the latest news.
Beautiful. So again, when is the event and where exactly?
Okay, the event is in Laughlin, Nevada.
Okay.
You have to fly into Las Vegas, as you know. It's an hour away. And it is from November 2nd. Everybody gets there the 1st, but November 2nd through 4th. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all day with an experiencer session in the morning. And it is going to be, the theme this year is the return of the star people, messages from the past, present, and future. And remember, we're there to support the water protectors in North Dakota with Danny Sheehan reporting back. So the website to register, and if you want to save any money, you have to do it in May, is www.starworksusa.com.
Is there a shuttle from Vegas? I think there is, correct?
There is, you know, and people, what they do is they also, they carpool and they get to know each other like that. It's a great ride. And then you can also go to Area 51, which is right there.
Yeah. So if people have questions, they can contact you through your Starworks website, Starworks USA website?
Yes, and there's an email there, expo@Starworks USA, and I answer all questions.
Beautiful. And I maybe add one thing. We did it at, for people who are into this kind of stuff, we had an event Destin and I did at Eureka Springs that we may do there. Is, you know, people sort of show up at night in hotel rooms. So we did this at Eureka Springs. We may do it there as well for people who are interested in just sort of meeting the speakers behind the scenes. We set up a hotel room, and then we have a camera running, and then you have all sorts of the speakers all show up, and they sort of gab about stuff that you may not hear them say on stage. So that kind of stuff where people can come. We invite it, sort of open it up to anybody that wants to come. So I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there. I'll probably be there a couple days extra this time because, as I say, the weather is absolutely beautiful for people who are in climates where it may be a little bit colder in November, and I hope everybody shows up. And I appreciate you doing this, setting this conference up to share the message with the world.
Well, I'm going to add one thing, Grant. For me, you are one of the greatest researchers ever. I mean, you do your homework, and you've also graduated, like Colin Andrews and other researchers, into the consciousness movement, which is, the consciousness is basically what we need to raise. Whether it be ESP, remote viewing, you know, communication with star people, that is the bottom line. And I thank you very much for going there. And you will also be giving a lecture.
Beautiful, and I will make sure it's worth their while to come. Well, find something extremely interesting. There's a lot of stuff happening, and I will go with the latest news of what's on and touch in the consciousness aspect, which a lot of your speakers are going to touch as well. So thank you very much.